Never get the MIC. Anyway. All right, man. Are you ready for a Get Eye Show?
No, Alex has left the call.
Cool. All right, here we are. We're back again. It's another edition. It's another episode of my show. And with the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now. Entertain us. He feels stupid and contagious. Here we are now. Entertain us, that guy over there.
Me, it's Alex. I'm back, and as always, I'm introduced by the best to ever do it. That guy right over there, or over there. One of the over there's. I don't know where he's at on your screen.
He's probably over there.
I'm this way, I'm that way. Either way, a mosquito and a beetle. It's me. It's One Take Jake back in the saddle again. Oh, there goes Alex. Turn the light on, shutting the door.
Damn.
We are joined by the third man in the booth. It would not be the show that we know and the show that we love and the show that it is today without him. It's Robin.
Goddamn right it is. Hey, my libido.
No, just jumping right into it today.
No, we're just doing it. Doing the damn thing.
Look at him. Look at him. He's
Go
doing
in.
Let's go
in.
You know why? Because
Why?
Game Week, motherfuckers.
Ah, yes. Hey.
Also,
Oh.
top 5 intro from Alex there. That was good. I have not like I can only think of 1 or 2 other times I've laughed that hard. That was good. Props.
I had to take a pause so I could get the cool out. I was like,
yeah, it was
cool.
good. Almost died.
Hey, we've got a lot to get to. Hanging out exclusively at badfacts.info. And also, make sure you're checking out the YouTube. You can actually see our faces and the stupid shit that we're doing.
Hey,
Check
we
it out.
had 2 views last week.
Hey, that's up. That's an infinite amount more than the 0 we got the week before. That rhymes, not intentional.
We maybe only had I think we had 3 last week.
Hey, we're getting there.
But at one point it was at 0. So I mean that's just how that works.
That's true. At one point, every video is at 0.
Yeah.
The amount of Joe Rogans that don't have coronavirus are currently at 0.
This is I feel like this next episode's gonna be like the new Gangnam Style. Did Gangnam Style come out with a new video?
Don't get it.
I missed that one.
It was a Kevin joke from The Office.
Oh, that would explain
9.
it. Season 9. There's a season
Was it
9.
in the final episode?
No, it was when they were watching the commercials and they're watching them online.
Oh, okay.
And Kevin's
Just making
like,
sure.
"What are you
The
guys
season-
watching? Did Gangnam Style come out with a new video?"
Definitely my least watched season, I'll say.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely the least watched because I think I've watched it from the first episode of season 9 until up to the final episode, but not including it, twice. And now I have like this very, very distinct fear that I would fall asleep during season 9 and wake up during or for the entirety of the final episode, and then my life would come crumbling down.
I don't know at what point it happens for me, but I just like I'm like, okay, it's time to start over. And it seems to be a similar point. It's after it becomes the Jim and Pam office, but like I don't know at what point it is. There just comes a time like, okay, and it's always before season 9. So I rarely get to season 9.
probably like right when you can tell Robert California's about to leave.
That's probably what it is because I'm like, oh man, no more Spader.
Yeah.
Robert
I'm
California is
the
so
fucking
good.
Lizard King. That's not even my real name.
You don't even know my real name.
Speaking of you don't even know my real name, we need to talk about Bishop Sycamore.
Yeah, we do, because I don't know any. I heard Dan Patrick make a joke about how it was a fake school that doesn't exist, and then you sent some information, I guess, meme-worthy information for sure about it, and then I just guessed that that's what it was. I know nothing about it except for it's a name, and the coach who was the principal of the quote-unquote school is being sued by everybody
Is
And I
this
don't know
the
what's going on.
online school that played against IMG Academy?
Yes.
Haha! Lucky guess.
There you go.
They
I'm like, yeah.
so the coach has an active warrant for his arrest for fraud.
Oh
Mhm.
shit!
Yeah.
Mhm.
Basically the team was made up of reclassified super seniors and like a bunch of guys from just around the country brought together. Uh, and they put them together as a team. They played last year, went 0-6. They played IMG last year. And so IMG knew who they were when they played them this season. But this season they just absolutely got the doors blown off of them on national TV, and they lied to ESPN and said that they had a number of Division One caliber athletes on the team, and ESPN says on the air like we couldn't verify any of that. We couldn't verify
Yeah.
who any of these people were, or that this school even exists. Like they went in and like, but at the same time, like ESPN didn't do its homework either. Hi, Kitty.
Well, it sounded like they tried to, and they just couldn't find anything. And it sounded like, from what I heard, that they figured it out way too late.
Right.
They were like, "Oh shit."
And so
Cameras are already rolling.
Yep.
this account comes from one of the players talking about what was going on. He says, "There's shit I could." They said, "What's the craziest thing that happened while you were there?" He's like, "For the last month and a half, we had about 35 players, which, considering that this is supposed to be an elite level, like 6A for those who don't understand, like this is
Largest
supposed to
level.
be, yeah, this is like basically the semi college is what this
Mhm.
is supposed to be." And so we had 35 players. We moved into these new houses. For that month and a half, we were all sleeping on the floor. We had to go rob Myers, Kroger's, Walmart because that's the only way we could eat. It's crazy, but I can think of shit that's crazier than that. Sleeping on the floor and doing all that shit that don't get to me. Dudes almost got stabbed in there. We had players from every borough of New York. Then we had players from inner city Columbus. That's where I'm from. Everything didn't mix, especially with no supervision. They asked why'd you go there? What appealed to you about the school? He says, at first they had brochures and a plan. They sent me books with like shit on how the school was supposed to look, blueprints and everything. They told us we was going to be on Netflix. They recruited us and told us we was going to be on a show. They told us we were going to be the IMG of the Midwest. They lied to me and my mama.
Nobody lies to my mama.
Nobody lies to my mama. Me is okay.
Dang.
But yeah, so they and if you look at them when they're playing, like the uniforms look it looks like someone sat there with an iron and just put the numbers on a t-shirt basically is what these jerseys look like. But
Dang.
so, and they got boat raced. It was like 68-0.
It was bad.
Like the coach refused the running clock option, which like if you're losing by a lot, the referees come over and like, hey, we're gonna do the running clock, so we can leave in half an hour instead of 2 hours. And he's like, nope, we're playing it out. And they're like, ah.
In Oregon, I don't think you have the option to decline that. I think it would be the clock runs.
The clock will run.
The
clock will run.
The clock will run. That's crazy.
I remember one of the most demoralizing things in like kids sports basketball was when they turned the scoreboard off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just leave it on. I know we're getting our asses whooped. Like, you don't have to turn the scoreboard off and stop keeping score. We're still keeping score.
We still know. Yeah.
We still know.
Still know. That's for sure.
Just let us have our dignity of the loss. Like,
it's like In The Office, a show we reference a lot on this show. I don't know if you guys have picked up on that.
Once or twice.
When Kevin is a terrible accountant but can do all of the math if you equate it to pies.
Pie,
yes.
That's like, it didn't matter how dumb the kids on your little YMCA team were. Everyone could keep track of the score to the point, like without fail.
Yeah.
Billy doesn't understand a pick and roll, but he will tell you that they have scored 13 points in their last 4 possessions, and that guy's 0 for 3 from the line, but he made 2 3-pointers before that. It's like you knew exactly how bad you were getting beat or how bad you were beating the other team, no matter what. But let's turn that scoreboard off and save these kids the embarrassment. You're walking out giving the other kids high five, up by 17, beat you by 17, beat you by 17.
And like, afterwards you're gonna force him to walk the line. A 2, 4, 6. Who do we appreciate?
Right? Yeah.
Shut the
losers, you guys. Like, it was.
Even in high school, I hated the hockey line, because like in the course of an hour and a half, I came to hate the guy I was playing against.
Yeah.
Like, and I understand that that's a whole point, but it's like, just let me sit here in my anger. I'll be over it by the end of the night.
Well, I said it before that one of the coolest things about spring football was that there was no handshake after the game.
Right.
Because of COVID. I was like, good. I don't want to. We're not friends. Fuck those guys.
We're not friends.
Not my friends.
Well, that's like, I mean, in Alaska, the city of Anchorage was big enough that like the rec league type stuff for little kids, I would play against kids that I went to school with, right? In Junction City was their own little, 5th grade basketball team, 4th grade basketball team. We're all the Junction City kids against Harrisburg and everything else. In Anchorage, it was like, no, I went to Campbell Community Elementary School, and Billy, who sat next to me in class, was on, the blue jersey team, and I'm on the green jersey team.
Teams, right?
Yeah. And so it was like, during the game Billy and I would have fun at recess playing tag and climbing on the monkey bars, but by the end of that basketball game, like, he'd caught me with a couple elbows, and I didn't think he was cool anymore. I don't want to shake his hand. Monday, when we're back in class, like, all good, right? Cool. But by the end of the
Saturday,
game,
Billy's a dick.
Yeah. Get the fuck
and
away
especially from me. Like, I understand in hockey when you guys are playing a 7-game series and you've been physically beating, like actually fighting. Like, there's a reason to come, like, shake hands like a man. After a game of basketball, when the hardest thing is that you caught an elbow to your floating rib, like, fuck off. You lost, go away. Or I lost, go away. Either way, go away. I don't want to listen to your music. I don't want to hear your walkout songs. Go away.
Fucking walkout songs.
I don't want to hear you talk to your little girlfriend after the game. I just want to take a shower in your cold ass girls' bathroom showers and get the fuck out of this podunk town. That's what I want to do. I don't want to touch any of you. I don't want to see any of you. I'm going somewhere with fucking electricity and more than 3 stoplights. Fuck all of you.
Yeah.
Perrydale.
I was gonna say, and it reminds me of, like, if you could choose one of the 50 states to get rid of, which one would you choose, and why is it Florida? Like that.
There's somebody in Perrydale right now. It's like, what did we fucking do?
Hey.
I'll tell you what you did.
You elbowed me in the floating rib, you piece of shit.
No, we're at a game. We're just minding our own fucking business, dominating these kids. We're up by like 20 points in the second half, and we had a kid on the team that wasn't me who had some premature male pattern baldness going on. I still had a full head of hair because I was a young, virile child. Because you cut
hair before every game.
Yeah, exactly. Cut it before every game. But this dude was legit like losing his hair at like 17, whatever. And so he's shooting free throws, and the parents in the stands are chanting Rogaine at this kid.
Wow.
Rogaine.
No, just Rogaine. And so he hit both free throws and just turned and stared as he did the hops, because this is early 2000s, so everyone is still playing street ball, kinda.
Yeah.
So he did that kind of hop step backwards and just eyeballed. It's like Perrydale and Mapleton, they both fucking suck. Like, I was working for Rife's Home Furniture as a furniture delivery guy. And we're going out to do our coast run, me and this guy Eddie, and we stopped off at the Mapleton Quick Stop. And this is like the year after I've graduated from high school. And I go in there, I get my Monster Energy drink and some sort of snack doodle, and I put my shit down on the table, and the woman's just staring at me. I'm like, "Hi," and she's like, "Hey, 23." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Oh Oh, shit.
I was like, I can't stop in Mapleton. It's
They're
not
down
gonna
to
happen.
6-man in football now.
Oh,
They got
I'd be-
nobody.
Oh, she says, oh.
oh,
Oh man, OSAA has reclassified a bunch of schools. 6-man is like they probably have as many as 8-man now.
hmm
And next year, either next year or the year after, 8-man goes away, and you're either 6-man or you're 9-man.
9-man. 9-man sounds like fun.
9-man is 11-man without tackles.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. 2 guards, a center.
Yeah, and the OSAA's reasoning behind that, I had a big argument Monday about this. Is
this Robin's rant?
Oh no! Oh fuck! I forgot about that. I got notes for that.
I even sent a random Robin
I've
rant
It was
reminder.
yesterday
I've
or
got notes
earlier,
too.
but anyway,
We've got a lot to talk about.
no, but OSAA said that the 9-man game closely resembles the 11-man game that they see in college and NFL on Saturday and
Yeah,
Sunday.
jerking
And I was
off
like, who
to
fucking
the-
cares? And what are we gonna call 6-man? Like elementary school playground ball?
Six man more closely resembles the 9-man football that closely resembles the 11-man football that we see on Saturdays and Sundays played at the collegiate and professional levels, Robin. Clearly.
Yep.
I still like. I think we need to adopt the game that we played at O'Hara Catholic School when I was in 5th grade the first time. Whoa, yeah, he's got notes. So it was basically rugby, but with football rules. Like the quarterback, like you snapped the ball and you threw to whoever, but when you got tagged down, you just touched the ball down and you could snap it immediately. So if you got caught a pass that got you into the red zone and got tagged down, as long as somebody was running up to the line of scrimmage, you snap it and throw it to that guy, it's a touchdown. So it was like a fast break football. That's actually what I would call it if I could turn it into a game and call it fast break football, because as long as you could set the ball down and snap it to yourself and then throw it to that guy, like go for it. You just got to be aware on it's like a cross between ultimate frisbee and football. Actually, when I think about it, ultimate football.
We used to play that in PE.
Awesome.
We used to play full tackle football in PE.
We did too. How was that allowed?
None of us ever got hurt.
We're old.
Nobody got hurt. I got bulldogged at one point during a football game. Did not get hurt.
I remember playing like through middle school. We actually played like tackle football in PE, but weren't allowed to play tackle football at recess. Right. Recess was like 2-hand shove football.
2-hand shove.
But you couldn't really shove, and everybody knew kind of that gray area of how hard to shove, so that way nobody got hurt, nobody got in trouble, but you knew when you were down. And it wasn't necessarily 2 hands, because if you could get somebody to fall over with one, that definitely counted.
That was the same as ultimate football.
Yeah, you just kind of shut. But like, we couldn't do anything more than that at recess. But in actual PE, the teacher was like, all right, it's like football week. We want to play real football? And we played, heck yeah.
We played football every day, rain or shine, for like 7 months. The only time we didn't play football was volleyball week, basketball month, and the presidential thing where we had to run around the block, which was fucking dumb.
That was the
worst. But there was just I remember one point, some kid got tackled and stayed down, and somebody ran over to him. And there was this gentleman's agreement. It's like, dude, get up. If you stay down, they won't let us do this anymore.
They won't let us play, right?
And so it's just like
your grenades.
Yeah, it's just a gentleman's agreement. Nobody hurt anybody, but there was there were so many scores settled in the PE football field.
Of course.
We had a blood rule too. Like if you were bleeding, you had to go to the bathroom. You had to cover it up until you could get inside, go to the bathroom and wash it off, and then you could come back.
You see, nobody ever bled. We were some fastidious boys playing football.
Well, we had kids that were poor and had holes in their clothes, so they would just get...
Well, we had a boy that liked to make holes in other people's clothes. He just ripped your shirt off in the middle of the game for no reason. Because he was strong enough and he could. He would just Hulk Hogan you in the middle of a game.
I remember like not wanting to wear jeans to school because of recess football.
Everyone at my school had a pair of basketball shorts on under their jeans.
Nice.
I remember when that started.
Yeah.
I remember
it was like, oh, basketball time. Jeans are off.
Yeah.
My mom, right, through elementary, middle school type stuff, playground type football, she put out jeans or whatever, but then she left in the mornings to go to work before I got on the school bus. I had to walk down to the school bus by myself. So I'd throw those jeans right back in the drawer, and I'm wearing sweatpants or like basketball shorts every day to school. Like, nope, I ain't playing this.
Dude, I still wear basketball shorts every day.
As soon like my school was really restrictive. Like for a while you couldn't wear shorts at all. And as soon as they lifted the short restriction, it was like shorts every day. Like no matter what the weather was, shorts every day. Because either I was going to basketball practice or it was the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I may as well wear shorts.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So do you want your rant now, or do you want?
I'm fucking ready.
You ready for
Robin's
it? All right.
Robin's rant.
And now we would like to bring you to this part of the show that we like to call Robin's rant. We'd like to cede the floor to the senator from Southern Oregon, Mr. Miller. The floor is yours.
So I'd like to believe that this rant started by a subconscious plant into my brain from TikTok. There was a guy, Californian dude, and he's like, all you Oregonians seem to think that Californians can't drive, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, you're an idiot. Shut up. And then the next day I was driving and I started noticing. And I started getting more and more pissed off at how fucking terrible Californian drivers actually drive. They don't know what the left lane is for passing. They just want to fucking marinate over there all fucking day. They can't handle going up a hill. They're like, oh my God, there's a hill. Imagine if it rained on a hill. Like they'd be screwed because they can't drive in the rain either.
What happens if my car is going slower as I go up the hill? What do I do?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I can't figure it out. Like, figure it out.
Keep going.
Figure it out. That's what I say. I say figure it out.
Keep it going.
And then, so they'll drive up the hill, slow down to 45 up the hill because they can't drive for shit. Then when they start going down the hill, well, if there's a corner, they're fucked because they can't handle a corner. Got to brake on the corner. Not before the corner, in the corner. But then as soon as we hit flat ground, they think it's a fucking Autobahn. Like, bitch, you were just going 45, now you're going 90. I mean, I don't have to pay for your gas, but that's not how you're supposed to drive. You're an idiot. Oh, did you know that turn signals are optional if you're from California? Like, you don't have to use them, like ever. Just move on over. All willy-nilly. However the fuck they want.
If my turn is not going to affect you, I don't think you need to know where I'm going.
I don't need to know, but if I'm going to be... Sometimes I'll just get behind them if they're marinating in the left lane and just be like, well, let's see how close I can get to your bumper before you start to move. So maybe they will use their turn signal. Sometimes I'll go around them and then I'll turn on my right turn signal. Like I'll if they're in the left lane and they've been just sitting there in the left lane, I'll go get in front of them in the left lane and just turn on my right signal like 6 or 7 times. Like turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. And eventually they'll move over. Then I'll move over because I'm like, well, I didn't need to be over here anyway.
See, I drive like Winston Wolfe on Pulp Fiction. I drive fast, so do your best to keep up.
And then have you ever been in an intersection with Californians? Like, I swear they don't understand. Yeah, like if you're in,
you go. You have the right of way. You fucking go.
Imagine you're in a 5-lane intersection, which means you've got 2 lanes for each direction, plus a turn lane for every one.
Yep.
If you're turning from any of them, a left-hand turn, you're supposed to go to the first available lane for you. Yep. Not whichever one you fucking feel like, because fucking Arby's is over there on the right. You gotta go to that first one and then turn over.
I at least get several car lengths in that lane before I hit the blinker and come over, because I got pulled over for a lane sweep.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't lane sweep
Corvallis.
anymore. I don't change lanes in an intersection because of the movie Liar Liar.
That is.
You know, that's a weird one, because Brian, being a cop, I've brought that up before, and he said he's tried to find and had discussions with other cops. They can't seem to find where in our laws it's illegal to shift lanes in an intersection.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna do it, but it makes me wonder, how soon do I have to wait?
If I ever get pulled over and I get cited that, I'm gonna ask them to cite me the law. And if they can't,
ask
then
for the ORS.
Yeah. If they can't, then they're boned.
Yeah.
Because they won't be able to.
Or if they do, please forward that to me, because I would also like that info.
Honestly, I don't I'm not just trying to get off on this, but I would just like to know. Hey.
It's super funny because Junction City High School offered driver's ed, right, for permitted drivers, and my buddy took driver's ed, and the only thing he took away from driver's ed was never change lanes in the middle of an intersection. That's how people fucking die. And I was like, why? Why this one? And for whatever reason, I just never asked. He brought it up every time we were driving. If we ever saw somebody change lanes in an intersection, he'd lose his mind, right? The way everyone does road rage style. He'd be like,
he'd just scream, "You're gonna die!"
That's how people fucking, God damn it, motherfucker! Right? He would lose his shit. And I just kept thinking, what did driver's ed do to you? And then so I asked. It was it's that what is it, the Andy Dwyer meme? That's the such and such, but at this point I'm too afraid to ask.
Yeah.
Right? It got to that point. He had freaked out so many times that I was afraid to ask him why he freaked out so much, that I asked somebody else who took the Junction City driver's ed. And apparently their specific class, I don't know if it was all of them or what, but the teacher at Junction City specifically goes on a 20-minute rant about how changing lanes is the most dangerous thing you can do in driving if you're in the middle of an intersection, and then just shows a picture/video collage of the results of accidents that happened because someone changed lanes in the middle of it. And just these crazy side swipes where half a car is missing, and you can see chunks of flesh left over on the cars, just these horrific accidents. And he's every single one of these happened because somebody changed lanes in the middle of an intersection. It doesn't matter if you're signaling or not signaling, you wait. You do it safely before you get to the intersection, or you wait until you're all the way. And it stuck with my brain. And that's he would speed, he would use his turn signal, he wouldn't, he'd run stop signs and stoplights, whatever he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But if he was in that intersection, man, he was stuck.
That's very similar to how I drive. I will not change lanes in an intersection, but I'll drive as fucking fast as I want to.
I've started to shift lanes in intersections fast because of the ambiguity of the rule. If Brian doesn't know it, then clearly not everyone knows.
Yeah.
Why
if
not?
a cop doesn't know, you don't know.
Yeah. What a cop don't know won't hurt you.
Hey.
And
what a cop don't know will get you arrested.
Sometimes,
That's true.
I still remember one of the questions that I had about a question the teacher asked in my driver's ed class. And it was, the teacher said, there's a statistic that most accidents happen within 25 miles of your home.
So I moved.
Hey. And he goes, does anybody know why that is? And my answer was, because that's where you are most of the time. And he was like, no, it's because where you're most comfortable. And I was like, but isn't it also where you are most, I don't know.
I'm generally within 25 miles of my house, even when I'm on my way to work. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
But
most people involved in a car accident are inside of a car.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of pedestrians get hit by a car, but most people who get hit are also in their car. it's when you say like, hey, most of the time that I am breathing, I'm alive.
But most teenage pregnancies happen to girls between 13 and 19.
What? Like, yeah, it's 100%. That's that stat. You can't even. I won't even listen to somebody who tries to say something other than it's because you spend most of your time within 25 miles of your house.
Yeah.
Like, period. I would say less accidents happen when you're not like it's not the most comfortable, right? This because you're the most comfortable. No, man. When I'm uncomfortable is when I'm the most erratic at driving, trying to make some turn or whatever. That's when it's the most dangerous.
Yeah.
Like,
You
so
get the
When
radio
I'm in
turned
my
all the way
comfort
down, so
zone,
you
I
can
know
hear
exactly where to be and where to
Yeah.
I'm
go.
like,
Exactly.
it's like I'm watching what other people are doing because I already know what I'm gonna do. So when somebody does something erratic, I'm more apt to adjust appropriately. Like I guess I don't go like muscle memory on my commute to work. Like I know what looks weird, and I'm like, hold on. Through those trees, I saw brake lights. There's usually it's a clear path through these trees.
See,
So if I see red,
that's the other thing. When you've been driving somewhere long enough, you know where to look. You
Mhm.
know where the traffic is coming from. And it's funny, like people have asked me, like, oh, how can you do that and drive all the way down to Eugene and doing that the entire time? I mean, read between the lines, people. I'm like, well, I mean, when you consider I've been on I-5 since age 8 to now, I'm very familiar with this stretch of pavement.
Right.
just so we're clear, according to OregonLive.com, on January 10th, 2019, quote, hold on, I have to scroll back down. I scrolled up to find the date when this was published, and now I'm scrolling back down. Oh, dang it, I lost it.
Boo!
Boo! This is why
According to
I'm
your
not the
mom,
guy
you a hoe.
It says, in Oregon and Washington, it is not illegal to change lanes in an intersection.
Fucking A, I'm off to the races.
Sure, avoiding this maneuver is a rule insisted on.
No, don't insist. If you were serious, you'd make it a law. Fuck off.
It's insisted upon during driver's education, but if you can do it safely and aren't trying to turn, right? Turning in an intersection from not a turn lane is illegal because that's crossing lanes, right? It's illegal anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But you can change lanes if done safely. You can change lanes in the middle of an intersection.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, fucking! I'm off to the races. I'm gonna pass I'm gonna have so many overtakes in traffic now.
The little write-up goes on to say that because of the insistence during any official driver's ed course, people don't expect you to change lanes in the middle of an intersection, and therefore making it a risky maneuver, right? It's that classic, you know what you're doing, but if they don't, they react erratically and it could get out of hand. But a cop can't pull you over for that move specifically.
That's interesting.
I mean, from the ones I've talked to, they weren't going to anyway.
So here's my perspective of California drivers as someone who's lived in Seattle for the past 5 years and have taken to the Seattle method of driving. So here's what I've learned about driving on the West Coast. Everyone thinks everyone else is a shitty driver because we're all right. Everyone fucking sucks at driving. Everyone does, but we all suck in different ways.
I know Oregonians can't merge to save their fucking lives.
Cannot merge. Like 70 is as fast as their cars will go.
It's the worst.
Washington drivers suck because they make decisions quickly, but they make the wrong decisions. And then they get mad at you for it.
Like a bee.
Yeah. They're like, why'd you do that? Like, well, you were crossing 4 lanes of traffic, bro. Like, you're in the way now.
Yeah.
So Washington drivers go fast and make mistakes. Oregon drivers go slow and make mistakes. California drivers just fucking make mistakes. Because wherever they are, they're just like in Seattle, if you're behind someone that's fucking up traffic, they're from California. People in Oregon, people with Oregon plates are better at driving in Seattle than people with California plates. Because at least the people from Oregon are making deliberate decisions.
Generally,
Like people from California.
People in Oregon or Oregonians, I think that they're the ones that are trying to. Yeah, they might be going slow, but they're also not going to stop.
Right.
Like the
Right.
Californians, they're like, oh, well, that's a good place to stop.
Well,
Bitch,
Californians
it's
are
not.
used to stopping in traffic because
We don't
traffic
need
is
to.
stopped.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and that's the thing. Like they're like, oh, well, this is a cute city
That's
to
because
drive
when
in.
you have a herd of Californians, they're gonna stop.
Yeah. I will say, like, driving in Eugene completely fucks up my traffic timing because it's a solid like 10 miles per hour difference. When I see a car coming that's 500 feet away, at 35 miles an hour, I can't make that. I can't jump out and go. So I can't do that in Seattle. But when I'm in Eugene, that guy at 500 feet, like I can do that. Like that's easy money. Hey, baby.
They say hi.
Hey, baby.
That's a baby.
That is a baby.
And
We're
then
getting this is a
she's holding
special
an
for
infant.
the people on we're being nice to you. Go fuck
Hey.
yourself.
No, I was being mean.
Oh, okay.
That
Well,
was at me,
for
not you
the
guys.
people on YouTube are getting a very special treat right now. There's a child on the screen,
Baby.
and it looks like an onion.
And it's not me.
It's a
Hey,
baby.
hey.
It's a wife.
Oh, right.
So,
we need
We just need to ban
the
Californians.
letter Kenny, the baby thing now.
So I saw
ban
about
Californians. I
the
like it.
worst ban Californians is the name of this episode.
banned Californians. I like it.
So I saw about
Go away now.
the worst movie I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I want to hear about this.
Hang on, I'm writing down banned Californians.
Hold on. Worst movie you've ever seen?
No, it's up there. It's really, really up there.
No. Hold on. Well, I want to.
Wait.
Let's go. Give me the genre classification and what rating
Oh, it's a game. Oh, I
it
like
got.
Here we go.
And then I want to try to get. I don't know this. I don't know what movie
So
this is.
I'm gonna call this it's an action movie.
An action movie?
I'm gonna
Jiu-jitsu.
say, are we going official My Show rankings?
No. I want like PG-13, rated R.
Oh, I believe it's rated R.
Okay.
Let me
rated
find
R action movie, and it might be the worst one you've ever seen.
It might be the worst film I have ever seen in my life.
A Quiet Place 2.
It's not that bad. It is rated R.
A rated R action movie. Oh, so this
With-
is
starring Jason Momoa.
it's the Netflix
the new one, yeah.
Sister Mom
Sweet Girl.
Sweet Girl. Sister Mom, Sweet Girl, same thing.
Sister Mom.
Sister Mom starring Jason Momoa.
Is the
That's
name,
the
of
name of this
episode.
episode.
Sweet Girl. So that's like Eric Foreman is like the pharmaceutical rep or something like that like
Right,
jacked
and the
up
last time I
price
saw
of-
him, he was David Duke. Like,
It's true, he was David. I totally forgot that they cast him as David Duke.
He did such a good job too.
he was fantastic. Like, I hate, it's like, hey man, like if I ever see him, like, hey man, you did great as David Duke. Like, is that a compliment?
It is. It really is. Because yeah.
I think it's like, yeah, that's like a legit compliment because playing a character that you don't want to play,
Exactly.
right? Nobody wakes up in the morning and is like, sweet, I get to be Hitler today. But if you do a good job being Hitler, that means that you're a good actor, right? Topher Grace didn't wake up going like, day 3 is David Duke. This is what all dreams are made of. He's like, crap. Okay, let me get into character. Like, this is
Right.
going to be a challenge because I don't believe a single word that I'm saying now.
So
Yeah, 'cause-
I'm gonna give the official My Show rating
Oh, here we
of
go.
I didn't like it and don't see it.
Oh, not even a you should see it so you can hate it like I hate it. Just
Like,
nothing.
Like, spoiler alert.
Did you finish it?
I did finish it. I finished it like a
wow.
shitty fucking meal I paid for. I paid for it like I had $10 on in my
That's a
bank
t-shirt.
account,
Like-
and I
like-
got some bad Panda Express. I ate every last piece of it.
like ribs from that shitty place in Seattle.
Oh, don't even fucking get me started. You're on my shit list. Fucking look, Drunkies 2 shoe, or like Drunkies no shoes.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
But yeah, fuck them. That's what it means.
Yeah, because fuck them. That's
fuck 'em.
why.
So,
But-
like I said, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So Jason Momoa is a regular guy because that's believable, and
if that doesn't end up being the funniest thing of this review, this is the best review we've ever done. Like that, right from the start, because that's believable. Continue.
So his wife has some form of very aggressive murder you tomorrow cancer. And so the doctors say, hey, we found a special treatment that, maybe she can get and maybe she'll live. And he's like, yeah, give her that. And then they're like, no, we couldn't. The drug company said no. And so then like the CEO of the drug company just happens to be on TV that night. And there's a live call-in section because it's there's a controversy about their decision to pull the generic branding for it and just have it strictly theirs. And so he calls up and he's like, if my wife dies, I'm going to hunt you down and kill you. You have my word. I'm going to murder you in the streets like a fucking rat. And so he says this like on national television. Like, I mean, I'm embellishing a little, not much, a little. And so,
all right. And next on the phones, we have I leaned over.
Did you see?
Yes. I did.
See? That was amazing. So anyway, we're not going to sidetrack this. This is too good.
I know.
So Jason Momoa, like his wife dies because of course she does. She has very aggressive kill you tomorrow cancer.
I like the movie where Jason Momoa's wife survives, and then he tracks down this David Duke Martin Shkreli character that Topher Grace is playing, and is like, hey man, I want you to know that she lived, so you didn't help with that, and then he just walks away. That's it.
So here's like the weird part about this is like he starts getting mad at the doctor because the doctor's like, yeah, we can't give her that medication, blah 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 blah. He's like, what do you mean she's gonna die? And he's like,
why
dude,
does he sound like Batman?
Because he's trying to be Khal Drogo apparently.
Oh, nothing wrong with that.
And so the doctor looks at him, and then as doctors will do, he's like, I have to go give this diagnosis like 8 more times. Like, I understand that this is sad for you, but you're not the only person alive that's going through this right now. So calm your tits.
Yeah, a little bit fuck off. Like,
right. Like, you're not alone here. Like, you're not the only person this is happening to. And so Jason Momoa decides that he's going to hunt down this dude, and he gets someone to tell him, he's like, hey, come meet me in the subway, and I'll tell you everything you need to know. And then that guy gets murdered. Like
in
real
no way
quick.
Does that sound suspicious?
Right, exactly. So that dude gets murdered, and so Jason Momoa goes into a fight, like the super long fight sequence with this guy in the subway, gets stabbed in the liver. At which point I say, well, he's fucking dead. And so he's lying there, gets kicked out of a window, and is lying there on the subway platform, and his daughter is like crawling towards him, like his 11-year-old daughter, and he's like, no, like, stay with me, girl. I'm not going to die, but I'm not dying. And so we go through this entire movie of trying to get revenge on this fucking pharmaceutical company that just, yes, pharmaceuticals are slimy. We get that, but whatever. So we find out, like, we go through this entire movie of Jason Momoa being kind of a badass, but also kind of a pussy. Like, he's like, I'm gonna kill 9 guys and then break down in tears. Like, that's pretty much how the movie goes the entire time. And then he's running away from the police because the police have figured out who he is, and he's done terroristic threats against a public figure on national television and all sorts of this, that, and the other thing. And he's standing on top of PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on top of the baseball stadium. And with the police closing in on him and the helicopter flying overhead, he jumps.
You guys don't do that?
Now,
that was like my
I looked it
night.
up. I looked it up because a human being will not achieve terminal velocity until they've gone 167 feet. It is 138 feet from the top of PNC Park to the water. So, theoretically, yes, they could survive this jump. However, they had to jump also about 500 feet out to make it to the water. So if you now have to increase your upward trajectory on your jump in an inhuman fashion to clear this space to land in the water and survive. Now, they get Jason Momoa into the ambulance without a scratch. Everything's fine. Like, he just jumped from an 8-story building into the water. And he just needs to go get checked out of the hospital. He's fine. He's having conversations with people. They crash the ambulance, and out crawls a little girl who has been Jason Momoa the entire time, completely unscathed. She's been the one hunting down, because remember when he got stabbed in the liver? Guess what happened?
He died.
He died 10 minutes into the movie, and I called it. And I watched this entire 2-hour piece of dog shit that Netflix put out just to watch a girl jump fucking an inhuman amount of distance, survive it without a scratch, then crash an ambulance and just walk out like no one's ever crashed a car before, and we don't know how to survive. Like, worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's up like A Quiet Place, Sweet Girl, fucking Godfather 3, Freddy Got Fingered.
Hey.
And Lady in the Water. 5 worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Lady in the Water. Oh my god. I kind of want to watch that again now.
Is that like the M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie?
Yes.
It's terrible, but
like there's like a sea monster in a pool or something like that.
And a guy that only works out one half of his body. Sweet Girl is fucking terrible.
Skip leg day.
Girls get the girls, but the legs feed the wolf.
That's true.
Hey, there you go. Wow.
Huh.
That was an adventure.
That movie fucking sucked. Like,
I was not ready for that.
So hold on. Quick recap.
Oh, by the way, I thought it ended at the hour 30 point, and there was another 20 minutes of denouement after that. Like, what the hell?
Well, that makes sense.
So Jason Momoa's character died. But then he kept going, but he didn't keep going because it was actually his kid the whole time? His
kid was carrying on with the spirit of Jason Momoa because they were together in this journey the whole time.
So but there's a part of like
the movie sucked.
Fight Club, right? Where
it's done well.
Where they show like the security camera footage, and like it's just Ed Norton throwing himself down the stairs, right? But the daughter is like a little girl.
Right, yeah.
But is this supposed to be like the time, like she waited 10 years to then go after this guy?
She's like 11.
So she's 11, and all of these people that she's apparently beating the shit out of aren't like, guys, this 11-year-old is beating the shit out of us. Maybe we should try a different tactic. Like something like that's they couldn't have snuck in like a 10 years later and she's still pissed about it, but she's like 21.
Here's the thing. Like they do that lazy shit in movies when they're like 6 months later, 3 months later. It's like, so nothing happened for 6 months. Nothing of remark happened for 6 months that you just jump ahead 6 months later. That is so fucking lazy. If I ever do that when I'm writing something, I want one of you to slap me in the face. If I ever just go 6 months later, 2 years later, that means that I didn't care enough about the character to, like, 2 years of life does not matter.
For that part of the story that you're telling, probably not.
It would make sense. It would make sense to me.
No story should take that long to tell.
If the story is that she carries on her father's legacy to hunt down Topher Grace,
in the fucking liver.
It would make sense to skip like 10, right? To go from 11 to 21 and have her like Bruce Wayne her way into learning how to be a badass. And then like the big twist is when she climbs out of the ambulance, and like there's a quick like montage of like, over the last 10 years, this is all the cool shit I learned how to do so I could kill this motherfucker. You're like, all right, it's lame, but like I could get it. Yeah. But if she's actually just supposed to be 11 years plus 9 months or whatever, then fuck off. That's bad writing. Like,
so bad. That movie sucked.
If I can make your movie better in one sentence,
make it Damian Wayne.
Make it Damian Wayne. You wrote it bad. I'm not good at writing, but when I can write, make it 10 years later. And right, all of a sudden she kicks open the door and Topher Grace is fucking old, and you're like, wait, how did he age? Oh,
you just made the movie better by making Topher Grace old.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Make it Damian Wayne, make Topher Grace old. If I can fix your movie, you wrote a bad movie. Because they don't pay me to write movies. They do. They should pay us to write WWE scripts, but that's a separate conversation from last week's podcast, which you should go back and listen to if you're the listener. But
between Robin and I, we could probably book for a small local territory.
Oh, easily.
Same.
Like our shit would be good.
Probably save WWE.
Can you taste what the Brock is sizzling?
I just better as it went.
I'm just saying that is how you.
Boom. That you just did the full Vince McMahon meme in one sentence. And bloop, bloop. Like, ta-da! Amazing.
Way to make me stop thinking about that shit ass movie. Start talking about funny shit.
Oh man, that was good.
Man. Hashtag I knew Jake knows. Hashtag Alex makes it better.
That was like we had our own hashtags for a while, and like Alex would just send me random questions, and it would just be like, hey, what do you know about the circumference of Mars? I'd be like, it's like 284 miles. He's like, I knew you would know. That's probably not factual. Someone with a science degree would be like, actually.
See the problem here. Shut up.
But yeah.
I will say one of my favorite things about driving, I do miss having a short commute because of all the nice things that come with having a short commute. But I see a lot more funny shit in a long commute. Like, well, see, there's your problem. You're parked sideways in the turn lane. I feel a lot like Norm Macdonald when I'm like narrating traffic because he.
Oh my God.
Norm Macdonald's underappreciated.
So much so. Like, comedians appreciate him, but the general population does not, as they should.
It's
funny.
Dude, there was a bit, he went on to Conan, and he was just straight doing it was straight up Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
And he just kept, like, ripping on his wife, and he kept, like, I told my wife, oh, you dirty dog! He's like, wait, you call your wife a dirty dog? He's like, he just kept going. It's like you could tell that he showed up with material that he was going to get through because he was doing a bit.
I love when Conan, though, he'll do that with any guest. He'll just go along with whatever shtick, and next thing you know, you're Paul Rudd playing the same Mac and Me clip for 15 years.
Oh God, what was it? I'm trying to remember. It was Letterman, and I think it was Steve Martin. There was a comedian who was very good friends with David Letterman, and he came on. Well, I mean, there was one that they were like tight, like they were boys, and he would have them on all the time. And he came on and was just a dick the entire interview, and was just,
I know who you're talking about. Is was it Bill Murray?
I think it might have been BFM, yeah.
Okay.
And so he's just being a total flaming asshole this entire interview. And so Dave calls him up later and he's like, hey man, like, did I cross a line? Like, was I being rude? He's like, No, I was doing a bit. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And like Letterman goes back and watches it and he's like, "Oh my God, it was hysterical."
Yeah.
Because he put me on my heels and I was reacting to what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched Letterman on Carson right before Carson was about to leave. And it was after the whole controversy with Leno taking over for him instead of Letterman,
Oh,
who
yeah.
was like the heir apparent.
Mhm.
And like Letterman actually came out of it looking like a champ. Like he handled it very, very well. But one of like my favorite joke is he sits down and he's like, "Hey, Johnny, 1 second. Hey, band. Hey, guys. The gravy train is leaving." One for the band. Just like, I cracked up. The gravy train is leaving.
Yeah.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
like that was. I miss those style comedians who could just go off the rails and just decide they're gonna do a bit tonight and just be funny
Yeah.
Well,
non-conventionally.
I feel right. We try real hard not to like harp on the PC bandwagon and how annoying it can be, but like part of the problem with that is the audiences don't understand the confines of comedy, right? Like
There
if
are none.
Bill,
There are no confines of comedy. That's the point.
that's the point. That's what I'm saying. But if right, the new guys who do late night show, like if Jimmy Fallon has I don't know, name a comedian, a popular comedian now, Tom
Anthony
Segura.
Jeselnik.
Boom, and he has Anthony Jeselnik on as a guest, and Jeselnik decides to go full Jeselnik and just be an asshole the whole time, like his real in your face asshole comedy. That's his styling. He's an incredibly nice guy off his stand up thing, but if he
It's straight
decides
up Andy Kaufman is
yeah,
what he's
if he
doing.
wants to go in on it, dude, the internet would roast Anthony Jeselnik forever for being such a jerk to Jimmy Fallon, and nothing that anyone could say would ever convince the Twitter populace that Jeselnik was just doing a shtick and Fallon was in on it the whole time, or not. It doesn't matter. Like it wouldn't matter. It would cancel Anthony Jeselnik. He's such a piece of shit. How could you go on the Tonight Show and be an asshole? Like that's not cool, right? They just wanted to interview you, and like Bill Murray does it in the 90s or late 80s or whatever. Hilarious. Super funny. Everybody goes, "Oh, that Bill Murray, real funny guy."
Bill Murray.
But now anybody tries to do it now and it'd be like, what was Jake thinking going on a show and acting like that?
Avant-garde. I
How
just look at my
dare him?
It's the
I'd be like,
reason though that we like
I'm
The Office.
avant-garde, baby.
There's just something that's awkward about it, and you're like, but it's so funny because it's awkward, and there's a large population
That
that
don't like
can't
being
handle
uncomfortable.
that. Yeah, exactly. They
Yeah.
can't handle
Andy
it.
Kaufman made a career out of making people uncomfortable. Like
Mhm.
him, like I really want to go back and watch the work that he did with Jerry Lawler, because Andy Kaufman showed up in wrestling and made fun of it and mocked it and became a heel just
Mhm.
based on him showing up, and turned the biggest heel in the business into a face because he was standing up for wrestling. And like I have a book that was written by Bob Zmuda, who for the uninitiated is Andy Kaufman.
Right.
And oh my God, that's one of my favorite things about him is he would have Bob Zmuda plants in the audience during his show to throw people off from the fact that Andy
Yeah.
Kaufman was Bob Zmuda. So I have this book, like the biography of Andy Kaufman written by Bob Zmuda.
That's awesome.
Like I'm really looking forward to reading it, because to read a second person perspective of somebody's life.
Right. That's
That's
crazy.
like imagine to me, like I like to think of it this way. If Crash Landis like broke off in my mind and became its separate like psychological entity and wrote a book about me, that's what it would be like.
But I think he didn't. I don't think he had to separate it that far in his mind. I think he was able to take himself and put himself into the position to see it from that angle. And so he was the world was his play setting. Like
Right.
he was
Yeah.
just it's
separate
so
it.
good. It's
And
so
you're
good.
like, you're writing your autobiography from the perspective of someone hearing you tell you your autobiography.
You're your own ghostwriter.
Like, yeah, that's
so
such
good.
a weird of like, if I was going to tell my friends this story, what details would I include and what wouldn't I? Okay, put that in a book. Not what I remember of the story, but what I remember wanting to tell people of the story is like such a weird perspective to put on a biography, which is by all accounts an autobiography, right? Like,
that makes me think of when I was first applying for teaching jobs. I'd asked Dino to write me a letter of recommendation, and he goes, "How about you just write what you want, and then I'll sign it?" I was like, "Okay."
You see,
So I
it's
had to
funny
put
you bring
myself.
that up. It's really funny you bring that up because, like, with someone like Dino, I would like he's done that for me too, and I've done it. But when I left the Corvallis Gazette Times, I asked for a letter of recommendation from the editor in chief, and he said the same thing. He's like, "Oh, just write whatever you want, and I'll sign it." And to me, in that instance, that felt like a kiss off.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just write whatever you want, and I'll sign it. And I was just like, no, I want you to write what you think about me.
Right.
Whereas somebody like Dino, who's going to give me a glowing review regardless, like, yeah, I'll write what I think is good about me, and he can sign it because he would agree with me.
Yeah.
But someone who was my superior, that's a blow off.
It's a slap in the face.
Yeah.
See, I don't see it that way.
You don't?
I think of it if the superior like trusts you enough to write applicable information about yourself that they're gonna like agree with, right? Because I'm
sorry. Let me
interject. It depends on the relationship.
You're not like in this instance. This is not that sort of situation in the journalism world. Like this is some like it's one of those deals where like there's time in the day.
Yeah.
You know, like you're not so busy that you can't take 5 minutes to write this recommendation for me. What I want is I want your words. Like I'm going to here's what's going to happen. I'm going to show up at a newspaper and I'm going to hand them a letter of recommendation and I'm going to hand them a writing sample and they're going to look at them and go, the same guy wrote this.
Yeah.
But if everyone does it, then
not everybody. I'm not
everybody
convinced that
has
everyone
herpes,
does.
then nobody has herpes.
Well, hey.
No, everybody has herpes.
Especially Heidi.
I don't know. I've never gotten a letter of recommendation from anyone in my entire life. I think one, because I've never earned it, and two, because I've never asked because I don't care. And so in my head, I'd like to think like if I went to my boss right now, who similar to this journalism situation is not too busy to take 10 minutes to write and kind of briefly edit and proofread his own writing and give me a letter of recommendation for the next job. If he said, you write what you want in the letter of recommendation and I'll sign it, what I take that to mean is write the applicable information for wherever you want to go next. I'm going to read it, and if I agree with it, I'll sign off on it. But I also know that every boss I've ever had would read that and be like, "Nah, man, like you don't get to write this about yourself. Are you fucking serious? Like, that's not how this works, right? If you just like,
not up in here.
Jake Tabor is the single most important and influential writer I've ever had the pleasure of working with. The fact that he is only writing sports for the Corvallis Gazette Times is a travesty and should be a Washington Post. Like, you write that, he reads that, he tells you to fuck off because he's not signing that. But when you bring him a very, very believable and applicable letter of recommendation, he's hell yeah, man. That's absolutely what I would have written. Great, like, yep.
See, I was also coming from a place where I was already being mistreated in the workplace, so I was
that.
not.
If he's a dick, he's a dick. That's a separate thing.
Hang on. Let me clarify. Editor-in-chief Mike McAnally is a stand-up gentleman and the finest editor-in-chief I have dealt with, and by and large, professional to the nth degree and a fantastic person in his position.
But Steve if you wrote that on a letter of recommendation, you wouldn't sign it.
Right. Well, whatever. Steve Gress can eat a dick.
And I hope he's listening.
Yeah. I hope he is. Because he's short enough that I would only have to get up on a step stool and he could eat mine. So hey, fucking don't be shorter than your wife. That's 101.
What if she's 6'7"?
Well, then be 6'8".
7, 8, 9. No,
hey, well, in that case, eight would eat 7.
So what we're hearing is that you can take Brittany Griner on a date, but you can't marry her.
Exactly. And I told you I would until I found out she was a lesbian. Then she would not be interested in me at all.
What if you transitioned to a woman?
Oof.
I mean, that's a different conversation entirely.
So on next week's show.
Yeah, on next week's show.
These people, they could have been anywhere in the world. They're here with us. We appreciate that. Make sure you're checking us out on and also on YouTube. Again, hit us up. Give us here's what I'll say to you guys. Like right now, the way it's set up on Anchor is that you have to do a monthly subscription. Just do 1 month. That's all I'm asking. It's 99 cents. I will send you 10 of the bad stickers for you to put on whatever you'd like. And they're neat. They look like that. They've got Scott Hall on them. And they're fantastic. Yeah, he's the bad guy for bad facts. So get on that, and I'll send them to you, man. Like, give us 99 cents. I'll send you 10 stickers. Ain't worried about it. Ain't tripping. All you can pay for the postage stamp. But for this episode, this edition of my show with Alex and Jake, good night, universe.
Good night.
Race week. Game race week. Race week.
Game race week. Game race week. Game race. Vegas week. Vegas week. Everything is happening this week.